So, hello and welcome to the third episode of Community Conversations. Today, our guest is Isabella Bedoya with over 20K followers on LinkedIn. Isabella is an AI expert and the founder of MarketingPros.ai, an AI powered marketing and consulting firm. Her background is in digital marketing, and she's generated millions of impressions for Fortune 500 brands, including the top 10 unlimited healthcare and Google. Isabella's also featured in Bold TV and the Emmy Award winning nationally syndicated television. So, the list and Business Insider. So, we have a bit of a celebrity with us today. Thank you so much for being here, Isabella. And it's a pleasure to have you on Community Conversations.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here and really happy to help and share the knowledge.
It means a lot because we've been trying to get like an AI expert for a while, and so we're so happy you agreed to do this. Conceptually, Izzy, everybody knows the concept of the show: 10 to 15 minutes, 5 questions, and we want to dive straight into your expertise. And if you're ready, I have the first question on why have you chosen LinkedIn as a platform to post your content?
This is a really good question. Out of all the platforms I have been content marketing pretty much for like the last 2 years. My first business I grew it on Instagram, and it was pretty successful. Um, what I started realizing though was a shift in the market since like last summer, and I started realizing that catering to like B2C audiences, especially high ticket offers, was getting a little bit challenging.
Right.
So I decided to make the move and go B2B and, join LinkedIn.
That's amazing because we have, like you mentioned, like you also have experience with Instagram as well. But LinkedIn seems to be the place where a lot of B2B audiences are there, and so it makes a lot of sense. But my next questions, it's going to be quite interesting because, like I said, you're an AI expert, but everyone wants to know this one bit: Chat GPT. Everyone's talking about it. How did you get into experimenting with prompts and prompt engineering essentially, um, and like how important is it to get the right prompt? Because ChatGPT essentially, no matter what you type, you will get a response. So how'd you get into prompt engineering, and then how important do you think it is to have the right prompt for ChatGPT?
So prompt engineering is highly important. Especially as we go into like the future of marketing. How I got involved with it, I got involved with AI from even before ChatGPT became this, huge sensation. Um, I was using tools like Jasper, Copy AI, all these
Right.
different tools, even Brainwork, and it was just fascinating to me. Then I realized, and I realized this recently that I had already been using AI in a lot of the things that I do, but it wasn't until it became this huge, like, whoa, ChatGPT, everybody has to use it, that it became more forefront. So when it comes down to like the actual prompts, I just really immersed myself into it. And it was also kind of like a thing of need because I was doing a lot of work for different clients with the marketing agency side of things, and it became this like huge stress and like struggle of finding the right people, finding the right
Right.
talent, and not being bamboozled. This is a huge problem that a lot of business owners have, is finding the right talent. And I said, if I can just crack the code, if I can figure out how to do some of these things with AI, chat gpt, it's not just going to make my life easier, but it's also going to make whoever is on the team's lives easier. So that's what I started doing, and I just went head first. And that became my top priority, is like actually learn and master, and even saying master, like no one has really mastered it, like we're still at the very beginning of
Right.
it, but at least
Right.
for like my use cases, it's it's been really effective.
No, that makes sense. And I just want to take a moment here to say, for anybody that hasn't followed Izzy, I have for a while. And then it's not just all, work use cases, but your content has also been really entertaining. Like the rap that you did, with the AI. I don't know if it was GPT powered, but that was so fun. And not just that, like, like Mother's Day ChatGPT prompts. And, so it was really fun. And that's why we wanted to know, how did you get into engineering the right prompts? And I believe it must be a lot of trial and error from your end as well, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of learning, but the cool thing, and this is also like the misconception. For the longest time, I wasn't aware that um I, I always just assumed prompt engineering was like, oh, you have to know like code, like you have to know,
Right.
JavaScript, Python or something.
Right.
But it wasn't until I talked to a few people that I was like, asking the same questions like, what is prompt engineering? How can I get more involved in prompt engineering? And I remember this one guy said, "What are you talking about? You're doing it." I was like, "Oh." um so that's like the crazy the kind of like the
Mhm.
confusing part that a lot of people get tripped
Right.
up about is the
Right.
terminology, and prompt engineering is just being able to write up a prompt in your natural language. So whether you're speaking to ChatGPT or AI in English or Spanish or whatever language you're using, as long as you're
Right.
able to create a prompt that is a little bit more uh, detailed than just randomly saying like, "Hey, write me a story about a dog." That's so
Great.
generic. But if you say like, "Write me a story about a dog from the perspective of, I don't know, like Cardi B," right? Like something completely random, you're gonna get probably a little bit more slang, so it's just about getting a little bit more in depth with your prompts.
Absolutely, that makes sense, and that's why I said, like, anything you feed into ChatGPT, it is going to give you a response. It's just how accurate it is, and based on the prompt, like you mentioned, Cardi B. So it's just going to come into the same. It's going to come into play. My next question is, I think it's been a while. Even before ChatGPT, people have had conversations about this. But Izzy, I want to ask you: Can AI replace people?
This is a really good question. Um, AI right now still needs a lot of human intervention. So, what is going to happen or what is happening right now, and we're starting to see this also in the news, a lot of companies are empowering AI people or AI processes. So, if you learn how to use AI, like if you're watching this, listening to this, if you actually immerse yourself, learn how to use AI, learn a little bit more prompt engineering, you're going to know way more than like the average person anyway. And you're going to be more of this like novelty kind of thing. It's going to be very buzzy and trendy, and I've noticed it even with like our business, for like I'll talk to people and the offer is the same, everything's the same. The only thing that changed is, oh, we use AI for our processes. And all of a sudden, we've seen people's reaction go, oh, you use AI? That means I'm going to be using AI if I work with you. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, I need to work with you. And it's like, that's absolutely insane because it's the same everything. So, and that's what's going to happen if you start, being more tech forward and using AI in your processes. You're going to see a lot more um, people wanting to work with you.
Right. So, but just a quick follow up question in the sense is, like, a lot of people wanting to know, is it going to take over part of their roles, the complete role? Again, soaking back to Chat GPT, content creators, it's sort of taken over that part of it. So essentially, I just want to try and understand, reiterate that it's not going to take over your jobs. It's going to be beneficial if you understand how to use it.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is that I think one of the news outlets, I think it was CNN, reported 300 million jobs are on the line. But then another
Right.
news outlet reported 97 million jobs are going to be created because of this.
Or
So, yeah, so it's like yes, you can speaking about creators, like you can get an AI avatar that looks like a human and you'll have free UGC content. But I think what it comes down to is like how tech savvy you become, because as long as you're always ahead or on top of what's happening in AI, you'll be a little bit more valuable to your team and stuff like that. There are tools, like for example, if you use Chat GPT with like Auto GPT, Agent GPT, right? Now it goes, or there's other tools like Cheat Layer, for example, where you say like, write a tweet about this, and then you just watch your screen automate itself and post a tweet without you moving a finger.
oh, no
Then
way.
yeah, so but it's all at the very early stages. So I don't think anytime soon, but that's why it's important to start learning AI so you have a little bit more job security.
Absolutely, that makes sense, and I'm going to circle back to that a little later. But I just, on a similar line, I just wanted to know, how do you think AI is affecting the sales and marketing industry? For people trying to write their automated emails or marketing, trying to create content. How do you think it's affecting it? Is it beneficial, or do you think it's like a downside? Because sometimes you can catch GPT created content. So I just wanted to know your perspective, like how is it affecting sales and marketing, essentially like our industry.
Yeah, you're right about that. You can definitely tell when something's been created by ChatGPT. I think there's pros and cons. I think you just have to like understand that it's still an AI. So I like to just think of it of like, this is gonna be my amazing assistant that is still gonna know 80% maybe of what I would say, and then I just have to come in and tweak the last 20 or 10% or whatever the case is. Um, for marketing in particular, it's amazing because you can do so much more so much faster. Like you can do, audience persona research, content strategy, all of that in seconds, and or even like, small amount of minutes. And with sales on the other hand, you can do so much more because you can do like the chatbots, for example. Or something that I started doing a lot recently is I would just go on like people's websites and I would just copy the entire website into ChatGPT and ask it for like patterns or feedbacks or things that they could optimize. And now I have a pitch, right? Like, hey, did you know that your website's missing this? Right? It's like so it can definitely improve the whole process and automate it, but you still have to do your due diligence.
Right. And that's a really interesting use case. And I think like we're all going to circle back to your profile one day to read up on that, definitely on the entire website thing. But I just wanted to know, Izzy, what are your favorite AI tools? So outside ChatGPT is obviously taken all the limelight, but when you're creating content, what are your favorite AI tools that you generally use? Just about 3 or 5 of them, any amount.
Yeah, so ChatGPT is definitely a top one. Canva, I use Canva for like literally everything. And another one that I use, this is more for like if you're into like TikTok videos and video marketing. There's two. So Captions AI, it's a mobile app on your phone. But it's amazing because they have also like AI into it. So it does like very cool captions, like Alex Ramosi style captions and stuff like that. It's like $50 for the year. It's like super affordable. Um Whereas, and just for context, like when you pay a video editor for that, like you're paying them like, at least $20 an hour minimum for that
Right.
exact type of work.
Right.
Um and then when it comes down to the desktop version is called Vidyo dot AI, and that one is cool because it also does long form and it's desktop. It's a little bit easier to use. There's another one that I really love, and it's again it's for video marketing, but it's called Timebolt. I think timebolt.io, and what it does is you put your video in and it automatically chops up all of the dead pauses, the dead silence, the ums and uhs, all the filler words. Yeah, it just does it all for you. Um, I think a lot of the AI tools that I've used have been more around like video marketing use cases because
Right.
of the agency.
And so,
But for content creation, when it comes down to like writing, like LinkedIn content and stuff like that, I'll use ChatGPT. And sometimes something that I started doing recently is I just start taking a bunch of old copy that I see on like a client's profile or something and just ask it to like analyze it and then give me patterns of or writing style guidelines, and then I just use that into creating more content. Um but anything that you use AI for, like just remember to humanize it.
absolutely. That's one of the things that I can promise you. I think a lot of people will be pausing at this particular section to try and catch all the tools, myself included. But thank you so much for that. And the last question that I have for this particular interview is, again, one of the more important ones. What's your best advice, Izzy, for somebody starting to really dive into AI tools? Like how can they start working with it, and like you mentioned, humanize it and use it to their benefit, and also to the benefit of their role, be it like sales, marketing, or anywhere else that they're using it. Like, what's your best piece of advice for them?
Yes, so the best thing that you can do is just do like a quick audit of yourself, like check what you're spending your time on or what you're spending like, a lot of energy or resources or money on, and then figure out, just start googling like, can you automate it, or ask other people that know, can you automate it, what can you do? And then once you understand like the most basic problem that you can solve, like the simplest one that you can solve, try to fix that one, because you'll get an easy win, and then you'll just be like so surprised that now you don't have to worry about, for example, you don't have to worry about writing your lead magnet landing page copy ever again, right? Something so simple. Or you never have to create a checklist for a download checklist ever again, because ChatGPT can do it. So find like the easiest use case that you can, the easiest thing that you can do right now, or the most repetitive thing that you're doing right now, and start tweaking it until you figure out how to use AI for that. And once you do that, that's going to wake up this like aha moment, and you're going to want to do the rest of your company. So that's like
That
the and I think that across everybody that I speak to that has somehow got involved with AI, all it takes is that one moment of like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense, and next thing you know, they're like obsessed with AI.
you can automate the entire thing, and that's amazing advice, Izzy. Well, that's all we have this for this session. Thank you so much, for joining us, and in this really educating and amazingly valuable session as well. For anyone who hasn't come across Izzy's profile, the link is going to be in the description, and it's not just educative content. It's really fun, like I mentioned in the interview as well. It's really fun and entertaining content as well. So we'll be following you, Z. Thank you so much for joining us for this session.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. It means a lot. And we'll see you guys in the next one.